think you deserve a clap, don't you? Just a couple of logistical things. We've got Keith actually videoing this. We've also got some people online, and also we need to know what nationalities we've got in the room. So, Silvana, would you like to speak to them in Italian, French, or Métis? Do you want?
No. Can you hear me, all of you? No? Perdón. ¿Hay algún español en la sala? Vale, perfecto. Nos vais a excusar porque debido a la cantidad de otra nacionalidad vamos a hablar todo en inglés. Como va a ser muy complicado hacer esto en 3 o 4 idiomas a la vez, me he permitido, si no os importa a los españoles, después de la reunión me comprometo a estar con ustedes, a tratar de resumir lo que se va a hablar aquí y a contestar lo que podamos, Silvana y yo. Si no pudiéramos, está claro que tomaremos nota y lo haremos, pero tendrá que ser después de la reunión. ¿Hay algún problema? Para los españoles estoy hablando. ¿No hay ningún problema de que tengan ustedes que esperar un pelín? Vale. Maintenant, c'est pour les Français. Il y a des Français certainement. Oui, et il y a des Belges. D'accord. Alors, on va faire la même chose avec vous, si ça ne vous inquiète pas. On ne pourra pas traduire tout la réunion parce que ça va être trop long. Ça veut dire qu'après la réunion, Silvana et moi, on va rester avec vous, seulement les Espagnols et les Français, et on va essayer de faire un résumé de cette réunion et essayer à répondre à vos questions. Si on ne sait pas de ces questions quelque chose, je vous assure que je prendrai note et je vous le dirai plus tard. Mais quand même, vous devez attendre à la fin de la réunion. Et il y a un problème pour les Français et Belges? Il y a un problème pour vous d'attendre? Pas de problème? Ouais. Pardon? Pardon?
Un petit peu quand même. Un poquito también.
Un poquito? Un poquito, bien, gracias. Ça va être un peu plus petit, mais enfin, ça va être ce que ça va être. Mais enfin, moi je serai avec vous plus tard. Et malheureusement, mon allemand c'est pas très bon. Es gibt keine Deutsch Leute hier. Ah, menos mal. Oh my goodness. But can you understand English? Do you understand English? No? No English, no French, no Spanish? I am kaput.
All is not lost. We do have a Dutch speaker on the panel. Mr. McCracken, would you like to ask that gentleman?
He speaks perfectly. Does he? He does. That's Joe.
I understand your German, is it? Yeah.
Look, John, hear him out.
I'm fluent in the Dutch language, so does any people here from the Netherlands or from the Flemish countries. The Flemish parts of Belgium, I'll be able to speak Dutch in responding to anything if that's necessary. I have a little bit of German, so I'm able to hear and understand German and try to give you an answer as well.
You want to say that in Dutch?
Ik ben John McCracken, ik heb 37 jaar gewoond en gewerkt in Nederland. Dus als er Nederlandse talige mensen hier zijn die geen Engels heeft, of mensen uit Vlaanderen en België, dan kan ik best dat behandelen. Als je vragen in het Nederlands hebt, kan ik ook een antwoord in het Nederlands geven. Mijn Duits is veel minder dan mijn Nederlands, maar ik kan ook Duits begrijpen en ook antwoorden.
Oh, does anybody speak Scouse? Right, I'll be reading this out. Right, let's get the proceedings started. A fantastic turnout, despite comments made on PYM. It's brilliant. I'm Phil Gelling, and this is the committee for the CRA, and they're going to introduce themselves one by one, just to tell you what their strengths and skills are. So as you can see that this CRA committee is nothing like the one that was in power in 12 months ago. Right, Paul was actually a consultant to the committee, but he can talk for himself.
Hello there, I'm Paul Drury. I've really been acting as an advisor to the CRA because I've got a little bit of historical knowledge about it and I do quite a bit of research. Thank you.
Louder. Louder.
Can you hear me? Right, I'm Silvana. I'm Italian, but I speak 4 languages. I have been, in my line of work, I've been working in administration with international companies, and I've been a magistrate in the UK. I have been a victim of the floods, and since then I've become involved with the issues that we're going to talk today.
My name is Maite Gomez. I am the Spanish representative, and I am not going to tell you. You can hear me? Yeah. I don't want to give the list of my skills because there are too many. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? My name is Sandy Allison. I'm the Treasurer of the CRA. I think a lot of you probably know because I'm the oldest serving member of the CRA. I've been here for about 5 years. So many of your faces are very familiar. And like Katie says, I haven't got any skills, so I'm going to pass them on to a lady who has.
Hi, my name's Alison Lister. I've recently retired and joined the committee. I don't have many skills, just 30 years of working for the NHS in psychiatry, which some people think could be useful here. Not quite sure.
Hello there, my name's Adrian Dighton. I'm secretary with my wife who can't be here at the moment. She's working. I've got 34 years in civil service. I've got a background in project management, company, fraud investigations, management of people and stuff. And that's me.
Hi, I'm John McCracken. I'm a chartered quantity surveyor. I've spent 37 years in Holland as a troubleshooter, trying to turn very bad projects around into profitable ones and successful ones, functionally as well.
Phil.
I'm a construction expert, so if there's any construction problems, I'm able to evaluate those and put a value on the damage that would be there. I have a great deal of litigation and arbitration skills. The last litigation I had was in Stavanger, Norway, 300 million for a big project up there, and we came out with a 75% success. You can't hear at the back? As much? Okay. Anyway, so I've got litigation and arbitration experience, and I've been working on projects from 70 million to 700 million worldwide. It's taken me from projects in Taiwan right through to projects in the United Kingdom and every country just about in between. So I'll pass you on to Sue.
Hi, my name's Sue Tinkler. I've been on the CRA for about 12 months now. My background is primarily in human resource management and business development. I retired to Spain just 2.5 years ago, and 12 months ago joined the CRA. My role on the CRA is, so far has been primarily to stop this lot from killing themselves and each other, and to do fundraising. So if you came to the fiesta, you probably saw my face around the fiesta and things. So I've been doing the fundraising. Okay, thanks.
Hi, I'm Louise Allen. I'm relatively new to Camposol, arrived in March. I'm the children's representative for the CRA, and I also help Sue with events, so I was heavily involved in the fiesta. So that's my role currently at the moment, and I assist with some communications and magazine articles that go out as well.
Good morning, my name is Jeff Buxton. I'm the husband of Savannah, and that's the main reason why I'm here, I think. But I had 25 years working for the biggest food company in the world, Nestle, and I was working for them, I said, for 25 years, and then spent the rest of my life working for Motorola, the mobile phone company. That's about it. Pass you back to Phil.
So as you can see, the CRA is a multi-talented squad of people, and we're nothing, if nothing, we're diligent and we're can-do people. Anyway, for those of you who have had dealings with the Residents Association in the past, you'll see that there's only one remaining member from the CRA of 12 months ago. So those people bearing grudges against the past CRA, I suggest you give the new kids on the block a fair hearing and an opportunity to prove their worth. The agenda for today's meeting is quite straightforward. I shall be making some more opening remarks, killing off some rumours, and then Sylvana Buxton will give you an updated picture as to where the CRA are in trying to remedy all the ills of Camposol. Then that will be followed by Paul Jury talking through some possible options to improve our lot. And then it will be your turn to tell us what you propose to do about the problems of Camposol. Finally, if we are still alive and we've not turned on one another, we will take some proposals from the floor as to where do we go from here. We have a conference call set up so people abroad can hear, but I'm not sure how many are on. They possibly may want to make some comments and contribution as well. Adrian Ditton, one of our secretaries, will be taking notes and will issue those to the CRA website during the week. As I've already said, Keith Donovan will be videoing the meeting, so if we have to pass evidence over to the police, they can see who did what to who. Unless, of course, someone bumps off Keith and steals the camera. Seriously, I hope the meeting will run smoothly without any personal attacks, and the people will not be heckled, but will be given an opportunity to speak. If you need the mic, please raise your hand, and please, when asking a question or responding to a question, state who you are, what sector, and what polygon you're on. Right, some food for thought. The residents of Camposol have been contributing millions of euros each year in IBI and taxes. And would you say you've had value for money?
No.
Right. The council are full-time employees and are expected to perform duties for the citizens of Camposol. Do you denigrate them and abuse them when they don't deliver? No. No. You pay nothing to the Residents Association, and the volunteers of the CRA get unwarranted abuse from a small minority of Camposol residents when they do something someone does not like. So do you think that's right and fair?
No.
No. Thank you. You, the residents, have been lied to by MASA, the CHS, Merthyr Regional Authority, the Town Hall, the estate agents, the salesmen. All these people and organisations are responsible for the problems of Camposol, and you say and do little about it. One or two people will challenge that, and they can challenge it in the question session. I actually now want to kill off some rumours. I am not a member of a Spanish political party, and I have no intentions of joining one. Politicians are not my cup of tea, and neither are religious fanatics. I have a villa on Camposol, on D12, and it's on the edge of the old Rambler. And yes, I will be affected if the CHS have to reinstate the Rambler or even put in flood prevention measures. I am not a dangerous man. I have no weapons of mass destruction, unless the person who stated this is referring to my brain or my mouth, because I use both. I do not believe I'm hated by 70% of the households on Camposol. It could actually be a higher percentage. But then again, I at least have the comfort of knowing the mosquitoes and the flies love me. Oh, and of course, 2 of my 3 dogs. I was asked to take over the CRA in January 2015 as Bob Owen retired. And with the remaining members of the CRA, we went about rebuilding the committee and recruited a team of can-do people. And they're those people there. And if those of you attended the fiesta, right, you will know what a success they made of that. So we gave Camposol 2 events. We brought fun, frivolity and funds to those who took part. More importantly, highlighted what is good about Camposol. This year, we also engaged with Merthyr Transparenti in January 2015, and we've been working on numerous strategies with them to fix Camposol. MT, being practicing and retired Spanish lawyers and business people, have been charged with rooting out corruption in the Spanish system. Their remit is to help individuals and organisations get justice. They helped us put pressure on the previous mayor, Paco Garcia, by paying him a visit and said, when the CRA come calling, take their three main priorities and complete them. And in an act of participation between the council and CRA, we helped get street signs, not all of them, but quite a lot of them. We had the dual carriageway repaired on D. We had the ditches and pipes on D cleared because of what happened during the Gota Fria. We had 3 roads on D7 which had sunk due to the underground stream repaired. And we had Cappy, the company contracted by the town hall before the elections to fix the lighting and all related problems around B, C and D. But their contract was abruptly terminated by the present council with 40k owing to Capti. Others have claimed credit for those achievements, but the weekly priority meeting minutes will demonstrate the truth of the matter, so you can check up on me. So where are we now? I'm going to hand you over to Sylvana Buxton, who has spent much of 2015 in the town hall, and on the phone, and in meetings with Mertia Transparenti. So much so, that Jeff has already alluded to it, he's had to join the committee so that he can see his wife. Sylvana, do you want to take a stand? Or would you swear after me?
Good morning. As Phil said, I have been involved with Murcia Transparente for over a year, and I'll explain to you, I'll try and go through the sequence of events. My sort of speech to you is made of questions and answers. Hopefully I've put the questions that you are likely to ask and I've prepared the answers. But please, at the end of the meeting, anything else you wish to ask, I'll be glad to try and answer. So, initially, you have heard talking about Murcia Transparente. It's called, if you look on a website, ONG Murcia Transparente. The ONG stands for Non-Governmental Organization. And they are a registered charity organization, such as organizations in the UK like ActionAid, Oxfam, the Red Cross, etc. Those organizations in the UK will have the initials NOG, which are the equivalent of what Murcia Transparente are using in the UK, in Spain. So, Murcia Transparente is a long name, so from now on I refer them to as MT. And they are formed by professional people. Some of them are working still, like the lawyer that we are in often contact with, and some of them are retired professionals. What do? They fight against corruption. And since the legislation on transparency was passed in Spain in December 2014, they've now got much more power. And they've taken our plea to heart and are advising us on what to do all the time. Where do they get their funding from? Like all charity organizations, or many of them, the ONG's fundings come from the general public, they come from national organizations, they come from international foundations and corporations, from banks of multilateral development, and from the United Nations. And how did I get involved with MT? A friend gave me their details, and I emailed them saying simply, I'm a victim of the floods of the 25th of September, which damaged my house in Camposol. These floods were not a natural phenomenon, but they were the result of corruption and incompetence from the developers, the political parties at the time of the construction of Camposol, and the Confederazione Idrografica, Confederazione Idrografica is the equivalent of the water board in the UK, who allowed the constructions of properties on a rambla. I'm seeking compensation for the material and moral damages that we are suffering. Can you help me? I remember the first telephone conversation I had with Antonio, the chairman of MT, and my very first words to him were, I've got no money, and if I had, I don't intend to pay those who did me wrong. So can we still go ahead? Can we still fight? They followed a few meetings, and then I requested the support of the CRA, who exposed more problems in Camposol, such as properties with subsidence problems, inadequate sewage system, properties with embargoes, properties without escritura, properties without certificate of habitation, incomplete works throughout the urbanization. What have MT done so far for helping Camposol? They have acted on our behalf with the Mazaron and Murcia authorities, the UK and Spanish embassies, the European Parliament in Brussels, and the media. And in this context, they have demanded the release of all documentation relating to the construction of Camposol to CHS, that is the Confederazione Idrografica, to Mazaron Council, to Murcia Authority, for which a previous lawyer that had been contacted by the CRA to do this had quoted 11,000 euros to do this. Murcia Transparente have done it and continue to do it for us at no charge. They obtained the CHS report, which was 327 pages. And the lawyer at MT studied it. A previous lawyer approached by the CRA in the past quoted 25,000 euros for doing this. Again, to us, there was no charge. The practicing lawyer has granted the CRA two 2-hour consultation meetings and has visited Camposol on one occasion. Some of you may have met him, all free of charge. They've instigated media coverage, innumerable press releases and TV coverage. They've established and they maintain a contact with the politicians in the Murcia Parliament, in the European Parliament in Brussels, with the Mazaron representatives of Podemos and Ciudadanos political parties. They have produced a package of reports, interviews, video coverage and evidence of the problems in Camposol, especially regarding the Rambla and the land subsidence. And they've sent this whole package to the Prime Minister in the UK, the Minister of Foreign Affairs in the UK, the UK Embassy Head Office, obviously the UK, the Spanish Ambassador in the UK, and the Guardian newspaper in the UK. And at present, MT are pursuing a course of action to denounce Mazaron Council and Murcia Authority for failing to provide the documentation requested, which they must provide by law now. They have practically saturated the political scene and the media with the Camposol situation, and they will continue the dialogue with the Spanish authorities and the members of the European Parliament. The MT lawyer has outlined in a letter to the residents of Camposol the options for legal action, with the relative costs for each option, which are extremely reduced in compare with the normal lawyer's fees. Okay, you say, so what now? Now, I feel is our turn to act, under the guidance of MT lawyers who advises us to initiate legal proceedings to include one or all of 5 options. The first one, the one that we are that we should be doing immediately, is actually to lodge criminal charges for multiple crimes of fraud and falseness against the developers, CHS, Murcia Authority, Mazaron Council. I can feel that some of you have said, but we have pressed charges before. We have taken Massa to court. And we won the case and we achieved nothing. The difference between civil action, which you would have done, and criminal charges is that as we take criminal charges, if the defender doesn't pay, he goes to prison and he must pay the compensation awarded by the tribunal. To lodge the criminal charges, the lawyer, the MT lawyer, will charge us a fee of 3,000 euros. And you say, Silvana, haven't you forgotten a couple of zeros? No. 3,000 euros, not 30, is what the lawyer is going to require from us to start the proceedings. If we win, and there is an appeal, which we guess there might be from CHS or Massa, then the lawyer has already quoted 2,000 euros for fighting the appeal. He is so confident that we're going to win that he's going to get 10% of our compensation. So he's going to be happy, but I'm going to be ecstatic. The second option is a civil claim against the developers, architects, the project manager or director of the organization's work. And you say, right, this is a civil claim, so are we going to lose? No, because the architects are covered by insurance, which means it's a sure payout. For taking the civil claim against the developer's architect, the lawyer has quoted 4,000 euros. However, in order to pursue this claim, it will be necessary to obtain an independent expert report, which, in view of previous reports obtained by the CRA, we expect to be in the region of 5,000 euros. The third option is to demand the Mazaron Council to complete the outstanding works, taking the matter to the administrative dispute court if necessary. That would be a fee of 3,000 euros. The fourth option is administrative proceedings against the CHS in order to regularize, convert or expropriate the properties affected by the Rambla of the Aznares. A minimum of 2,000 euros if we ask you to pursue that option. You may be interested in knowing that the CHS were already sentenced in a previous court case to restore the Rambla to its original state. It seems as if the CHS profited from a subsequent dubious interference by a lawyer in Alicante to ignore the court's order. Hence, it's only necessary to proceed administratively in this issue. The court case has already been dealt, they've already been found guilty, so it's just a matter of pursuing it so that the CHS actually do what they have to do, what they've been ordered to do. And the fifth option is for dealing with terceria de dominio, that is to do with embargo cases. Unfortunately, I am not an expert on embargo issues, although I know they touch many, many people. And for this, the MT lawyer will take care of it, but for each case, he has quoted a fee of 1,500 euros. Now, the above costs include the use of an attorney, but exclude IVA, and the corresponding costs depending on the claims made, which are impossible to quote beforehand. The CRA have expressed the willingness to initiate criminal proceedings. That is the first option, providing we have your moral and financial support. In view of the fact that Camposol has approximately 5,000 residents and house owners, MT have advised to unite and go for the kill. That is to take up options 1 to 4, which is financially achievable with an initial minimum fee of 17,000 euros. That is for doing everything they tell us to do, or they advise us to do, and with pretty good certainty of winning. In fact, I put in my notes, we're sure to win. MT would not waste their time and effort otherwise. They have no financial aim and are totally dedicated to our cause. All they ask of us is unity in our battle. They've taken us further than anybody has ever done before. We are not going to get another chance. Now you ask, okay, but what would we have to pay right now if MT and the CRA take one or all of the above actions on my behalf? The MT lawyers have agreed to study the actual situation of each house owner interested in taking part in the legal proceedings. In order to do this, the MT lawyer requires documents from you, and they are the contract of purchase of the property, which we call escritura, the certificate of registration, which is the padron, a copy of the oldest and newest receipt of electricity and water bill. Obviously, that's to determine, when you first became a house owner and up to now. A copy of your last EB bill or receipt, and a copy of any individual claims made or judicial sentences relating to your particular case, and any other documentation that you may consider relevant or important. At the time of providing the above documentation, all you will be required to pay is a fee of 60 euro in respect of the provision of lawyers' funds. That's for the examination of all your documents. May I point out that the fee will be infinitely higher from any other legal firm. If you are a house owner affected by structural problems, lack of documents which legalize your property, that is the escritura, certificate of habitation, or have embargoes on your property, which the embargo itself may not be legal, or, as many people in Camposol have done, you have already taken legal action, have won, but have not been paid by the defender, you should not hesitate to pursue this course of action. The MT lawyer will claim appropriate compensation for each individual claim, which the judge will award accordingly to each situation. In case of non-payment, the defendant faces a jail sentence. The MT lawyer will sue on behalf of the CRA for the global issues relating to the infrastructure of Camposol. And for this, the CRA will have to provide a copy of its constitution, the acta, that's the minute of the meeting relating to the nomination of officers, and the CIF registration documents. The MT lawyer will also require the minimum fee stated above, which the CRA alone cannot meet. We are fighting your battle. We need your moral and financial support. My mission, my commitment today is that I will continue to offer at no charge my translating and interpreting skills in relation to this cause, to MT, to the CRA, and to all members who wish to sign up to the CRA MT Fight for Justice. I will organize and coordinate the gathering of the documents and the 60 euros that go as the only payments that you're asked to make at the moment, which can be deposited at the CRA cabin between now and the 30th of October. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you need any assistance or further explanation. Now this is our immediate plan for action. And now I'd like to pass you over to Paul for the future of Camposol.
Silvana got a little bit ahead of herself there. Silvana is a very genuine person. Emotional about Silvana. Ever since I met this lady, she's actually inspired the CRA, and she's been brilliant in everything she's done. She's had to put up with loads of knockbacks, but she's now made that many friends in the town hall. I think she's got her own desk in there. Before I actually pass you over to Paul, I just wanted to say that there's some of the documentation and some of the comments, some of the paperwork Silvana's mentioned will be available at some point on the website in the not too distant future, and there will also be stuff put in a cabin for you to go on there as well. Right, Paul. I want to hand over to Paul, but I've got to say something first. Paul is also another person that spent an inordinate amount of time on CRA business this year, doing research on problems and supporting both myself and Silvana in making connections with other organisations and following up on information. Paul's wife, however, has not joined the committee, as she was apparently thankful to get him out from under her feet. So over to you, Paul.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Camposolers, as most of you will be aware, in the last 20 years or so of Camposol's history, the relationship with Matheron Town Hall has been difficult, to put it mildly. As things stand, the adoption, which was actioned in July 2014, has been deemed illegal by the new council, and the stipulations for legal adoption, that the urbanisation is completed in full, all sectors included, means that if decisions aren't made now, the situation is very unlikely to change in the next 20 years. Although we have water supply, sewage facilities, water treatment centre, rubbish collection, all these are paid for through a boiler. We have electrical power, but that's paid through the electrical suppliers, hydro, etc. The urbanisation still requires the service support and administrative structure normally associated with a functioning council. So we need to look for options. These are the obvious ones. Option 1, to do nothing. No legal action, wait for the Matheron Council to make a decision on our future. The advantage of this, it takes zero effort. The disadvantage is, by taking this option, we could find ourselves in the same situation for the next 5, 10, 20 years, with the extra deterioration and dilapidation. Option 2, to proceed with the legal action as outlined by Silvana, and hope that the Matheron Council adopt Camposol in full, all streets and areas designated public, and the responsibility lying fully with the Town Hall. The advantages of this: steps will have been taken to complete Camposol and remedy the infrastructure and private property issues by the legal action. And also there is a possibility of full adoption. The disadvantage is, again, we will be in the same position in years to come. The changing council would adopt different attitudes, which has already happened. last year were adopted. This year we're not. Option 3. Again, to proceed with legal action and attempt to get adoption through appeals to the regional government or possibly the courts. And if this adoption was only as per the plan partial, meaning private roads and areas would not be responsibility of the town hall, then these areas would be left to the residents, homeowners, gardening groups, etc. to maintain. The advantages of this, similar to option 2, but with the demarcation of public-private roads and areas. The disadvantages, again, will be in the hands of Marianos Council, and the private roads and areas will probably, and possibly, most possibly, deteriorate at various rates, reflecting the efforts to upkeep. Option 4. Again, proceed with the legal action, and if council adoption was only the plan partial, or plan general, which means only public roads and areas are adopted, re-establish the community of owners or a management board to fund and manage the upkeep of the private roads and areas. Nobody's building. The advantages of this would be that the whole urbanisation would be maintained, whether public or private. The disadvantage is an entity is very, very unpopular and would require payments to the community of owners as well as payments of levy to the council. Option 5. Again, proceeding with the legal action as Siobhan has already outlined, and with any compensation received by the CRA to investigate putting into effect an El Saladillo Camposol Municipal Council. Good. The advantages of this would be we will be able to determine our own destiny, make our own decisions, elect our own administration, control our own budget, and all the revenue collected in IBI and other taxes after disbursements to the regional government exchequer would be for the sole use of El Saladillo and Camposol. The disadvantage is a huge amount of work to set it up. Option 6. Again, to proceed with the legal action, but to start investigations into autonomy immediately as a parallel action. As legal proceedings will take some time, and in this time, further deterioration would take place, and at the same time, funds and taxes would continue to be paid to Marianos Town Hall with a little or no return investment. The advantages to this are as option 5, we would be the authors of our own destiny. The disadvantage is, again, the same as option 5. A huge workload for the starter. In the first 4 options, Camposol would be in the changing hands of the Town Hall, with treatment depending on the incumbent council priorities, which was obviously changed every 4 years following the elections. Camposol would be a very low priority on after Marianos' shop window of the port and the other tourist attractions. For options 4 and 5, after initial inquiries, El Saladillo and Camposol does meet virtually all of the criteria required for a municipality. We do have over 5,000 people on the Pedanian census. There are also the facilities and infrastructure required. In fact, the only thing we seem to be missing is a cemetery. These 2 options would involve a huge amount of work, time, to come to fruition, and it would be unfair to ask anybody or anybody's to take this on without the mandate from the residents and homeowners. We have requested further information on setting up a municipality, and hopefully this will be forthcoming shortly. As I've said, these are the obvious options. If anybody has any other workable, viable options, we'll be very interested to know. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Again, those options will be up on the website, and we'll also just up on the website initially, but if you want to contact any of the members of the committee, we'll try and get you a copy. Right, you've heard what we've been doing and you've heard the proposals. It's now your turn to speak. We want you to ask questions, make statements, but please, no personal attacks, or I will have to ask you to sit down or leave the room. We're all grown-ups and we should act accordingly. If we cannot answer your question, I'm happy to throw it out open to the floor. Otherwise, we'll take note of the question, your name and details, and send you a response. Right. I didn't bring the flak jacket, and I didn't bring the tin helmet. So please, if you're going to throw anything, make sure it's soft. Mr. Muncaster, Sue is coming round with the mic.
It was just to ask that there was a fighting fund established some time ago, and I know some of that money's been good to good order, but is there some balance left to start the ball rolling? I know the figures that you've been identifying this morning, €60 seems to be very affordable, but we need to get things moving, and if there's some surplus funds there, can we kick off with that?
Sue, do you want to answer or shall I? Actually, Sandy, do you want to answer or shall I?
Right, the accounts are completely up to date, but as of the 3rd of September, we had 1,000... Sorry, as of the 3rd of September, we had €17,903.02 in the fighting fund. We've since added to that with a few more donations and the money that we made from the Fiesta. So we're approximately standing just over €18,000 now in the fighting fund. That's all I can tell you at the moment. But the accounts for the last quarter, ending the 30th of September, will be published in about the first week in October, and they'll be on the website. Okay?
Thanks, Sandy. So we have got some money to start with, and I'll probably cover the start of some of the criminal action, at least. Right at the back. If you're going to hold the mic, apparently you have to hold it straight up to your mouth.
Okay, I'm used to singing and karaoke.
Oh, good.
I'll give you a song. I just want to correct a few incorrect facts.
Could we have your name? I know who you are.
Linda Biggs.
Yeah.
Sorry, Linda Biggs from Sector A. The first thing I want to correct is to actually stand there and state categorically that we've been unadopted is not true. The Mayoress expressed her doubts as to whether the whole urbanisation should be adopted as a whole. She's done nothing about it. It would have to be done in the Pleno. The next Pleno, as we all know, Hines Campillo, he wants to reverse the adoption of BCD, not the Mayoress, and he has to get that through the Pleno. And now, the person that adopted BCD, Paco Garcia, is now part of the local government because they formed a coalition. So I would think it's highly unlikely that she's going to try and overturn something that he did. But anyway, so it's not cut and dried. We're not unadopted by any manner of means. Sector A certainly wouldn't be unadopted because that's on a different plan partial. I had this conversation with Alicia myself. She was just speaking her thoughts without really thinking it through. And we shouldn't jump to conclusions and hang on her every word as gospel. That's the biggest mistake you can make when dealing with the council. Secondly, I would like to say that my old thing that I keep bashing on about is that back in 2010, late 2010, we did a complaint at no cost whatsoever to the Defensor del Pueblo. We had created a 3-year dossier on the council because and the reason that started was because when I once went to the urbanisation department to look at some plans, I referred to a meeting with the mayor. And this guy, who obviously was just an employee and not a politico, as they say, he said, no, 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 you don't do that. You don't, the mayor can sit at a meeting, say whatever he likes, and then he can get up and walk away and forget all about it. So it means nothing unless you can get them to confirm any minutes that you've done on a meeting. He said, this is what you need, and he waved the Modello 1 to me. And he said, this is what you do. You put your request to that, you won't get an answer, you do another one chasing it up, and then you do another one. So I went back to the committee, and I said, this was in 2007. I said, we're going to create a dossier on this council. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but we're going to create an audit trail. And that's what we did, and that was a lot of hard work, so don't tell me nothing's been done until now. That was a lot of hard work, all in Spanish, letters pointing out all what was wrong, bad street lighting, the water and the sewer, everything. And naturally, it was all totally ignored, which is what they call silencio administrativa. So later on, in 2010, I came across, like Silvana has come across MT. Can you hear me all right? I came across the Defensor de Pueblo on the internet. I did a complaint straight online. Nothing happened. So, with my best Spanish, I phoned them up. And they said that they were interested in the complaint, but they needed it amplified. So I then amplified it. I gave them as much paperwork as they wanted. I did a huge email with 9 attachments. We were then called to the offices of the Defensor de Pueblo as a committee, and we sat there for an hour and a half. And the first thing they said was, do you speak Spanish? And we said, well, yes, enough, bastante. And they said, good, because we don't speak English. In other words, we're not going to. So we sat there, and I had to explain in words, even though he had it all there in writing, the case for Camposol. Then we went away, then they decided, I had a letter to say that they would transmit our claim. And we won. And the Council of Mataron were found guilty on all the counts that you've described. They were found culpable of everything, including not producing the certificates of habitation. And the solicitor, the regional solicitor for the region of Murcia, said that where one certificate of habitation was issued, they should have issued them all. In which case, we are all deemed to be living, to have unwritten permission to live in our houses, because we've been doing so unchallenged. So that's not a worry. It's nice to have the piece of paper, but it's not the be-all and end-all. The regional solicitor has said we are not illegal. Now, the town hall, the resolution in our favour was sent direct to the town hall, and they were obliged to reply to it within 15 days. Now, they replied to it. This was Blair, just before the 2011 elections. This was January, February time. He replied, he said the first thing he would do was reinstate the electricity to the water and sewerage stations when we had sewerage going into the Rambler on Sector A and it was running down the streets on BCD. So if we hadn't have done that complaint, that would still be running. Nothing would have happened. Then we had the elections, and then the coalition got in, and they started implementing more of the answers that the council officially gave to the Defensor de Pueblo. And all the time they are working through it, they are not officially in the wrong. All the time they're doing something. Right, now, I accept it's all stopped now. The lighting around about D and some on B and C should be worked on. And by the way, El Capi has been paid in full. I know that because he told me. So that needs to be restarted. Now, Alicia has been mayoress for just over 100 days. Now, it is perfectly normal for a mayor, an incoming mayor, to not really do anything significant for those 100 days. It's 100 days grace. Now, those 100 days are up. She's declared her coalition, which she didn't declare before. So now, we need to ask her what are her intentions for Camposol. Not just refuse to go and meet with her, as you have done, because MT have advised you not to talk to the council, am I right? They've advised you not to talk to the council.
Yeah, that doesn't mean say we refused.
Yeah, okay, so you're not talking to the council, so how can you find out what her plans are? She's already made it known that she intends to go to the regional authority for funds, for emergency funds, to carry on with the works. Now, if she doesn't, then we have to take it to the Tribunal Superior de Murcia. And I believe that can be done at very, very little or perhaps no cost, because that is set up to protect this citizen. To me, before we go charging around and trying to sue everybody and shutting ourselves off from the open door of the council, because it is open, she is obliged to see you. That's the law. She can't refuse to see any of us. So before we do that, we should try and get the resolution of the Defensor del Pueblo implemented. In that, I'm nearly finished now, I'm sorry to go on, but in that reply, Blair said that he would dispossess Massa of its condition as urbaniser, and that we, the council, will then become the urbaniser, and we will finish the urbanisation. Now that might have some financial implications to the residents, but I don't know, because nobody's done the plan. They're supposed to work out a plan of attack, of doing it all. And this is what we've got to get them to do. You know, all the European Parliament, and goodness knows what, they're not going to mend the sewers. They're not going to sort out the problem of the Rambler. The people that are going to sort it out is the town hall. And you cannot just dismiss the town hall after one meeting of just giving them a list of 35 items slapped on the desk, and then you come out with nothing, and then say, right, that's it, we're not going there anymore, we're going to sue them. That, to me, is crazy. I agree with the proposal about us being a town in our own right. In fact, I've suggested it myself. I agree with that. I agree with legal action if they do not adhere to the resolution of the Defensor del Pueblo, which covers everything. It covers the lot.
Right, how do I follow that? First of all, there's two reasons why we have not continued our meetings with Alicia Jimenez. It's because at the last meeting that we had with her, we were supposed to be talking to the councillors plus the planning department. When we arrived, we were confronted by, we believe, 3 solicitors, Alicia Jimenez and the council. And during the conversations that were had, and it wasn't just a question of handing over a list of 35 items, we talked about the people on sea and the fact that they were living in sanitary conditions, and her answer to that one was, we'll move them out. And then we said, well, where will you move them to? He said, well, we don't know where they're going to go, we'll just move them out. That was the first one. The second the second thing that came to mind was when we started to ask her about what she was going to do about Camposol. She said, well, Camposol is illegal and we're going to deselect it. And she didn't just say B, C and D, she also mentioned A as well, because she said that was an illegal adoption. Now what are we supposed to do? Right? In that, when she's telling you that... Well, how, Linda, do you reason with somebody who's blatantly lying to you, especially when... Sorry, Linda, let me finish. Let me finish. You've had your say. I and the 3 more of my colleagues, we sat there and we asked numerous questions, and all the way through those conversations, she got more and more stressed. And I don't normally look at a lady's chest unless she's well endowed, Penny.
Thank you,
but her chest was full of hives, and she was red as that gentleman, that lady's blouse there. She was lying to us. So we walked out of that meeting, and we were all shell-shocked. We sat down outside the cafe bar in the plateau down there, and we said, was she telling the truth? Was she telling us anything? And basically we all came to the same conclusion, that all we'd listened to was basically, I won't use the language because the ladies are in the room, but basically we were told to get lost. We went back to Merthyr Transparenti and we talked to them about the situation, and Merthyr Transparenti said, well, in view of the way they were treated when they went to the town hall, they're not surprised. And their advice was, because we were talking about taking legal action, we should no longer talk to her on the basis of subjudice. And that was it. The thing I ask you to bear in mind, Linda, as well, is she was the deputy mayor for the first 8 years that Blair was running this town. Anyway, I want to hand you back to Silvana because she wants to answer your defensa question.
Right, I would like to answer you, Linda. I don't know you personally, I hope to get to know you later, but I'd like to answer the issues that you have raised about the efforts that were made in the past. With the Garrigues report, which I believe the CRA paid a lot of money for, in which all the issues, Garrigues are very prominent lawyers in Murcia, and they provided a report in 2 languages, which I know I've read, so we were aware of it. And they put all the issues and problems that Camposol had. That report has been, as far as I know, filed. In 2010, you are right, Linda, there was a case brought to the Ombudsman. I searched high and low for the paperwork. I eventually found it. I don't give up. So I found it in English and in Spanish. No, you did not send me the full report, you sent me the attachment and you sent me 2 pages. You sent me the report that you gave. Please let me finish. Please let me finish. You sent me the report, part of the report, 4 pages in fact, of the report that you made to the Ombudsman. I continually asked for the resolution of the Ombudsman. I found it, I read it. You are right. The Ombudsman found Mazarin Council culpable of all charges.